So in this video, I want to share a couple more networking success stories, some examples of times where I've been out in the world networking myself, and hopefully through these stories you can learn some additional tips, tricks, and lessons about how to effectively network. This has been a series about networking. As I've mentioned in some of my other videos, I really feel that networking is one of those critical life skills and a skill that's important to success in business and success in life and success in your career. I think it's something that's not talked about nearly enough. And I think networking is vitally important and a skill that no matter what personality type you have or personality traits you have, you can become effective at networking. And I hope that some of this video content can help you in that journey and help maybe encourage you to go out and do some networking as well. So the first story I want to tell you is about the Sultan of Soda. Yeah, that actually is his job title. He is the president and CEO of the company, so he could basically give himself whatever job title he wanted to. But I thought the Sultan of Soda was a pretty awesome name. As you can probably tell from the name, he's a fun guy, and he works in the soda industry. So he owns a manufacturing and operates a manufacturing company that makes soda and has been in southwestern Pennsylvania for over 100 years. And so I was at a networking event. It was a professional networking event. I honestly don't remember who was running it, if it was a Chamber of Commerce event or someone else, but I went to this event with the intent of meeting some new folks and hopefully meeting some folks in manufacturing, because that's an industry niche that my nonprofit works in, and in a lot of cases that's a rarity. So I think that's one of the things that the Sultan and I really hit it off on right away, was that we were both in the manufacturing related spaces. But I was actually on the other side of the room from the Sultan, and happened to see him leaning up against the wall and holding up the wall, if you will, is the old saying, I guess. But I basically walked up to him and I said, "Hey, you're doing a great job of holding up that wall." And it was just kind of an icebreaker to catch his attention, but also maybe get him to laugh, right? It was stupid. It was silly. There's probably way better lines to start off with networking, like hi. But that's what I went with, was good job holding up that wall. So he chuckled, he laughed. Again, he's got a great sense of humor. And I said to him, sorry for the bad joke, but just curious, I saw you over here all by yourself, and this is a networking event. The intent is to mingle and interact with other people. So I thought I'd come over and say hi and hear about what your story is and hear a little bit about what you do. Which, of course, he opened up with then, "Well, I'm the Sultan of Soda." And I said, "Wow, you might be the most interesting guy in the entire room. I'm glad I came over to talk to you." And, of course, we talked about what each of us did and what brought him out to the event that night and kind of why he was out in the middle of the week at an event, standing up against the wall. But what that led to was actually multiple ways that we engaged after that networking event. So in my nonprofit work, I work with school districts. We were able to connect him with a local high school, and some high school students worked on some marketing related projects with him. We were able to get him some grant funding to help with some of the new hires that they were bringing on board the organization. Some of our consultants were able to go in and help them to improve their business. So just that one brief connection was something that was mutually beneficial, and something that we were able to continue to work together, and we still do stuff occasionally together here and there. So it was a great connection at that networking event. Second story I wanted to share was a photographer that I met at a photo meetup. So I can't remember if this was a photo walk where a bunch of photographers get together and walk through a particular part of town or area and photograph stuff together, or if it was an indoor photographic discussion kind of event. But either way, I met John at this event. We were both photographers. We both shot the same brand of camera, perhaps. Maybe that was the initial connection. But just being at an event where we both had the same interests, the same hobby. In his case, he was a professional photographer. Had done a lot of stuff with the media and does a lot of event photography. And so I got a chance to meet with him. We had actually ran into each other multiple times at various photography-centric events and built some rapport together. We were both Yankees fans. And one day he dropped me a message, it was probably on Facebook, and said to me, "Hey, I have an event coming up that I'm supposed to photograph, but I'm not available. Would you be available and interested in photographing this event?" And I was available, and it was paid. So bonus. It was actually with a local museum here in the area. So John referred me to that and actually allowed me to get that gig. I then went on for that same museum to shoot multiple events with them, all paid engagements. So literally that connection with John led to thousands of dollars in my pocket, but also enabling me to go and do something I enjoy, which is photography, and made some great connections to folks in the community, as well as at that museum through those events and that work as well. So another great connection. Next story is about a friend of a friend. So you think about your network, and there's the people that you immediately know, but then there's the people that are in their networks that they know as well. So this was actually a friend of a friend of a friend. So it was 3 layers deep, if you will, and someone that I didn't really know initially, but then, you know, because of those friendships and the 3 of us hanging around together, actually got to know him a little bit better. So fast forward several years later, I actually hadn't talked to him for quite a while, and he dropped me a message probably again on Facebook. This is the power of social media, to be able to reach back out to folks. And his name was Scott. My name's Scott. So he reached back out to me and he said, hey, I hope all is well, but I know you're into photography. I'm actually coordinating a boxing event, a boxing tournament, and I wanted to know if you would come and photograph that for me. So I could have said yes and took that as an opportunity for either a paid engagement or a volunteer or just something to create a portfolio or just to go have fun doing or to help a friend out. But I said to him instead, what if we did a barter situation instead? Instead of you paying me, what if you actually gave me a table at that event? So at that time, I actually had a marketing and sales business as well that was focused on the energy drink and nutritional business, which kind of aligned to the sports theme. But also knew there would be a lot of folks there and a good opportunity to do some sampling and kind of do a sample event there. So I said, well, why don't you give me a table at the event and we can do some sampling. I'll bring a couple friends along that can help with that, and I'll take photos for your event, and that's kind of a mutual win-win. So he said, hey, that sounds great. We set up a table at that event, created some great fun and added to the environment, able to take the photos, of course, for him and captured those for him. But we also got a lot of customer leads out of that became short-term and long-term customers through that business. And one of them in particular was actually a young lady that was also working there. Of all things, she was working as a Miller Lite girl. So she was slinging beer that night and giving samples of beer, I guess. But, you know, really enjoyed our energy drinks. And so I called her up to follow up with that, which is another critical tip as far as following up the leads that you generated at an event. And said to her, hey, would you be interested in purchasing some additional energy drinks? And she said, no, not at this time. I'm pretty broke. I'm actually a college student who is finishing up her master's degree, and I'm a student teacher right now. So she was a special ed student teacher. We ended up doing some business together. She ended up being a customer, and then we did some business together, and she provided some connections to some other great leads in her area. But we also became good friends, which was also kind of a cool outcome of that event. Fast forward, because of that connection and other people I knew, she got introduced to her husband through that connection. And they're still married today with one child and another child on the way. So again, because of the value that I was being able to bring to that event, not only benefited me, but also benefited others that I connected to that then got connected into my network, if that makes sense. Also, you might look at that example and say, well, that wasn't really a networking event. That was a boxing event. It was a boxing tournament. And you're absolutely right. And that's another quick tip as to networking events don't have to be a themed, specifically titled networking event to be a networking opportunity. So networking opportunity, networking event are not the same thing necessarily. And this is just an example of how you can leverage something that you're already at, or that you're paid to be at, or that provides a mutually beneficial opportunity, as I described, where you can use it as a networking opportunity. The last example I want to give you is my college roommate. My college roommate was a college friend / roommate, was a very unique individual. We became friends because he grew up in the same general area as I did, and we were both at Robert Morris in Pittsburgh. So we were both about 5 hours away from home, and he had a car and I didn't. So the convenience of being able to get home, and we spent a lot of time playing video games together, and both were resident assistants on campus. And you know, we had fun together, and it was a good friendship, but he was also kind of a weird dude, and also kind of grinded on me sometimes and was very annoying to me sometimes. But anyway, despite that, when we both got out of college, we became roommates after college and lived together for a period of time. And it was nice because we were both in very entry-level jobs that didn't pay very well. But he was obviously part of my network. And because of that, he was looking for a job and I was working in recruiting at a bank, and I was able to get him a job as a teller at the bank. So because of my network, I was again able to benefit somebody else in, my network / my job, if you will. But I was able to help benefit him in getting a job. So fast forward, there was a day where a lawyer from here in Pittsburgh came up to his teller window, and my buddy must have been having a particularly good day because the lawyer said to him, "Man, you've got some great people skills and some great communication skills, and I love your energy. And I'm just curious, are you ever looking for any opportunities outside of banking? Are you ever looking for any opportunities to be mentored or work with some business professionals outside of what you're doing here at the bank?" And my roommate's like, "Oh man, that's all that Scott and I have been talking about, was how we could do something as a side hustle or some side opportunity or tap into some mentorship kind of experiences." So he came home very excited and ended up introducing me to that lawyer, who then tapped me into his network as well. But fast forward 20 years later, actually, that gentleman is still my best friend, still my mentor, has helped me in countless number of ways that I can't even begin to list. And as I mentioned, tapped me into his network of people and professionals from really all over the country that he had access to. So again, it was like that part of my network that was there based on convenience or based on a friendship, but also was mutually beneficial for my friend, roommate, college classmate, but then was also long-term beneficial to me. And of course, never knew at the time that by me helping my friend get that job as a teller at a bank, that was going to lead to something that 20 years later was still bearing fruit and still beneficial to me, personally and professionally. So those are just a couple of additional stories I wanted to share about networking. I'm sure I could probably come up with 20 more, and maybe I will, but this is just part of the video series and giving you examples of ways that you can network, how you can live your life and be in a networking mindset, different types of networking and how to leverage your network, demonstration of the mutual benefit that networking provides for you and the person you're networking with. And hopefully you gain some value from this. Again, this is one of a multitude of videos around networking, so hopefully you click on the links below or the previews of additional videos to go and watch some of the other content around networking. I'd love to hear a comment below if you've got a great story of being connected or how you leverage networking or a tip for networking. Of course, I appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel, give it a like, that helps with the algorithm. And if you also want to make sure you don't miss any additional videos, then you can click that bell icon as well, and you'll get notifications when I post new content, because there are some additional videos coming around networking, but also other success principles and life skills that hopefully will benefit you as well. So thanks again, and happy networking, everybody. Go out there, step out of your comfort zones, get out into the world, go to a professional networking event, or maybe think about the next environment you're in as an opportunity to network. And again, would love to hear those success stories below. Have a great day. Talk to you again soon.